All praises to the Most High, the Elohim of our fathers, creator of heaven and earth, and of all things. Only Him we glorify, and only Him we praise. Shalom, brothers and sisters, who are scattered in all corners of the earth. Sanbonan. My name is Mpumelelo. Welcome to this channel. I would like to take this opportunity to thank all the subscribers of this channel. Thank you for all your contributions. If you are new to this channel, please like and subscribe and share this video. Similarly, if you are a subscriber, please continue to like and share this video. So today's topic is the lie that Christians continue to believe about the Jewish state of Israel. And Christians in this context refers mainly, I'm not really concerned about Caucasians who are Christians. This is mainly directed at our brothers and sisters who are in this movement of Christianity. Some deny and say they are not Christians, but they have taken all the belief systems of Christianity and they pretty much use these belief systems in their awakening movements. They use Christian scriptures and they believe that they are real, like the New Testament. But Christians have been duped to believe that the Jewish state of Israel is the biblical promised land and the Jewish people, the so-called Jewish people, are the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So they've been told a lie and they believe it. And everything that they do that is directed towards Israel, or that they understand and believe about the so-called Jewish state of Israel and the Jewish people, they do it based on their belief that these are the chosen people of the Most High. Now, this lie has been perpetuated, propagated over generations, and we've believed it. And it is based primarily on misguided verses that are found in the Bible. They are misguided because when you read these verses, you believe that they are related or they are talking about the Jewish people or the so-called Jewish people. Sadly, some of our people read these verses and they don't identify themselves in these verses, but they see other people. This lie is based on the belief that the Jewish people are the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They believe that the word Jewish is synonymous with the word Hebrew, or Israeli, or Israelite, or Israel. They believe that the Bible was written by the Jewish people. And they say, in order for you to understand the Bible, have you heard this before? You must understand the Jewish culture. They don't realize that this so-called Jewish culture is nothing else but Bantu culture. It has nothing to do with the Jewish people, the Caucasians that are found in the Middle East. They believe that the location of the promised land, where the Jewish state of Israel is located, is the Middle East. So, Christianity is based on many lies, but the most profound lie is their perception about who the Jewish people are and where the promised land is. Now let us look at this misguided or misunderstood verses that they read and they act on them because of their belief that they are doing the right thing. These verses in the Bible are found primarily in the book of Genesis and in the Psalms. And let's look at the book of Genesis chapter 12. And we will pick two verses, verses 2 and 3. Verse 2. I will make you a great nation. I will bless you and make your name great, and you shall be a blessing. Now, who is talking here? The Most High is talking to our father Abraham. And he says to him, I will make you a great nation. I will bless you and make your name great, and you shall be a blessing. Verse 3, I will bless those who bless you, and I will curse him who curse you. And in you, all the families of the earth shall be blessed. Now, Christianity is based, or it thrives on making people believe that they will be blessed if they do certain things. They will be blessed if they believe that Jesus is the Messiah. They will be blessed if they believe that Jesus is the Son of God, their God. They will be blessed if they bless Israel or the descendants of Israel. And this is primarily where they err. This verse, Genesis 12 verse 3, I will bless those who bless you. It means they believe that they will be blessed if they bless the Jewish state or the people who are in the Jewish state of Israel. And they are afraid that if they don't do that, they will be cursed. They do this ignorantly. They don't know that those people in the Middle East are not the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Now, let us look at Psalm 122, verses 6 to 9. The verse that we need to pay attention to here is verse 6. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May they prosper who love you. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May they prosper who love you. Let's read for the sake of it, 7, 8, and 9. Peace be within your walls, prosperity within your palaces. For the sake of my brethren and companions, I will now say, peace be within you. Because of the house of Yah, our Elohim, I will seek your good. Now you see, when you pray for the peace of Jerusalem and you are praying for the fake Jerusalem that is in the Middle East, your prayer is in vain. It says here, may they prosper who love you. May they prosper who love Jerusalem and its people. You've been a Christian for how many years? For how long? Your fathers, your grandfathers have been Christians. They sing about Jerusalem. They pray about Jerusalem, the peace of Jerusalem. Have they prospered? Have they prospered? You need to ask these questions honestly and don't say, well, they haven't prospered because they haven't been praying right. The truth and the reality is that that's not the Jerusalem that this is talking about. That's not even the spiritual Jerusalem, because some people will say there's a spiritual Jerusalem. Some people will say that the temple is in you, in your heart. So if the temple is in you, in your heart, what peace are you praying about? But this is what happens. when you are praying for the peace of that Jerusalem. You see what the Jewish people are doing there against the Palestinians. The children that they are killing, women who are pregnant that they are killing, children whose heads are decapitated. Recently, they attacked people who were in a church, in a Catholic church, and then they attacked a crowd of people who were not even queuing for aid, but they thronged the truck to get aid because they don't queue anymore, And the IDF, the Israel Defense Force, unleashed fire on them. And they killed a lot of people. They massacred a lot of people. This is what we are praying for when you pray for those people. You're praying for their prosperity. But you are putting curses on you because that is the kind of thing that the Most High will not condone. And they are awaiting their judgment. They are awaiting their judgment. The power that they have amassed over a period of time, they will lose it. There is no empire that will live forever. Of course, they are aided by the United States of America. And the United States of America, that empire is showing signs of cracks. It is losing its balance. It is losing its glory. And if the United States fall, Israel will not survive. But think about what you are doing. Of course, many people are doing this out of ignorance. They don't know. But please take time to listen to this presentation and share it with people. Start having discussions about what it is that you are doing. And I know that when you are praying, that when you are supporting Israel, you are thinking in your mind that, and this is what I used to think when I used to pray for the peace of Jerusalem and when I used to pray for Israel, because I used to think that they are the chosen people. Little did I know that the Bible is talking about me and many of our brothers and sisters who have been deceived, who have been lied to. Now, this is what I used to think. This is what I used to say to myself, no matter what they are doing, I will do my bit. I will do what is right. I will pray for them. I will support them whichever way. If they are doing anything that is wicked, that is not in agreement with the will of the Most High, He will judge them because they are His people. That's what I used to think. And I think that this is what many of you think. But I tell you, you've been deceived, just like I was deceived. They are not the biblical people. They are not what you think they are. Now, over a period of time, we've been bombarded with these lies. We've been told that the Jewish people are the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. This is a lie. Christians believe that the word Jewish is synonymous with the word Hebrew or Israeli, Israelite or Yisrael. They believe that the word Jew or Jews or Jewish is found, not that they believe. It is true. The word Jews or the word Jew or Jews is found in several books in the Bible. It is found in the Old Testament and it is found in the apocryphal books. Now, what is interesting here is that when the Bible was translated from Hebrew to Greek, the word Jew or Jews in Greek is iodios. Ioudios, Iodios. And from Greek, from this word Iodios, it was translated in English to Jews. But in Hebrew, this word is Yahudim. The word Jews is Yahudim. There was no letter J in the English vocabulary until the years between the 16 and 1700s. So the letter J became commonly used in the 1700s, which means that in the translations of the Bibles during those times, even perhaps in the early English versions, which were translated before the 1700s, this letter did not exist, Jews, or this word did not exist. So, even though we find this translation in our Bible, in several books today you'll find it, in the book of Jeremiah, in the book of Kings, in the book of Esther. In the book of Esther there are several translations which relates to Jews. But what are they talking about? Who are the Jews that they are talking about? In all these instances, the word Jew, Jews, or Jewish refers only to those of the tribe of Judah. Those who were in the southern kingdom. And in the southern kingdom, we know that the tribe of Benjamin and some Levites and also the tribe of Judah resided in the southern kingdom. When the kingdom of Israel was divided into two kingdoms, the northern kingdom and the southern kingdoms, 10 tribes were in the northern kingdom, and the tribe of Judah, which was followed by the tribe of Benjamin, were in the southern kingdom. So when all these verses are talking about the Jews, they are talking about people who were from the tribe of Judah, including half a tribe of the tribe of Benjamin. So the word Jew should refer to the people who are from the tribe of Judah. Now you should ask yourself a question. Are those people there from the tribe of Judah? All of them? At no stage did this word Jew refer to all, to the entire nation of Israel. It never referred to the entire nation of the house of Jacob. It specifically referred to the tribe of Judah. Now you have today, or what is known as the Ethiopian Jews. And guess what? They've never called themselves the Jews. It's other people who call themselves the Ethiopian Jews. They have called themselves the Beta Israel, which means the house of Israel, or the house of Jacob. So these Jewish people became popularly known as the Jewish people when they established the Jewish state of Israel. Now you need to realize that everything that they do has Jewish in them. Jewish state of Israel, Jewish literature, Jewish this and that. And this is done deliberately. It's a propagation so that it is in our minds, in our tongues, and it is normalized. But these people have no blood relations with the tribe of Judah, but they have no blood relations with the nation of Jacob or the nation of Israel. They are not descendants of any of these people. So where do they come from? How do they get themselves asserted and positioned this way? And how do they get to deceive the whole world that they are the Jews of the Bible? They are the descendants of the Bible. They are not from the tribe of Judah or the tribe of Yehudah. They are not from the tribe of Benjamin. They are not Levites. Even though they have rabbis among them who call themselves Kohani, or they would argue and say, well, a rabbi is a teacher. There are Kohanim among them. The word rabbi is not necessarily synonymous with Kohen. Some are using these words interchangeably. Rabbi and Kohen. Kohen means priest. Rabbi means something else. Rabbi means the great one. The teacher, the great one. The one who's greater than me. It comes from the verb rab, which means great, big. So they don't come from any of the tribes, and they are not descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They have no historical or biblical ties with the biblical people. So if you are a Christian, your prayers are misdirected. You are praying for people who are not whom you think they are. You should be praying for yourself. If you are melanated like me, if you are Bantu, if you should be praying for our people, for the restoration of our people, for the repentance, for the restoration of our land. Now, they have gone to lengths to hide their identity. If you live in Israel today, you are not allowed to take a DNA test. It's prohibited. It is unlawful. Because if you do that, you will find that your lineage has got nothing to do with, firstly, it has nothing to do even with people who are in the Middle East. Can you believe that? Let alone people who are in the continent. Your lineage has got nothing to do with the people in the Middle East, let alone people in the continent here. Jewish people are Europeans who have stolen an identity and they've deceived the world. They were able to rise in power over a period of time, taking over various strategic institutions and asserting themselves. There might be a few people, but their power is unbelievable. All descendants of the 12th tribe of Israel, all of them, they are melanated people. Today you will find, a lot of people who are light in complexion, who are biracial. That's because of the admixture between our people. But our lineage is determined by the lineage of our fathers. So even if our fathers have had relations with other nations, we can still trace our lineage to the 12 tribes. What about them? What about those people? This is what their Jewish law is saying. According to their Jewish laws, you are a Jew if your mother is a Jew, not your father. So if your mother is a Jew, you are a Jew. Because they believe that their mothers have been faithful. I guess since the Khazarian times, they have been faithful. They have never had, they've never been married to anyone other than the people who converted to Judaism or who were Khazarians. I've gone ahead of myself now, mentioning things that will be coming in the next slide. But they believe that their mothers were faithful. And so if your mother is a Jew, you are a Jew. Now this is unbiblical because according to the Bible, the lineage is traced from the father. That is why when you read the lineage of anyone, be it the lineage of David, the lineage of Solomon, it will say Solomon, the son of David, the son of Jesse, the son of Obed, the son of Boaz. It says that. You will not find anything saying David, the son of, and according to their mothers. It doesn't say that. They've changed the laws. They've changed the rules. Only them can only be identified. And by the way, only them in the world can trace their lineage by the lineage of their mothers. It is unprecedented, it is unbiblical, it is unfounded. Now, where do these people come from? The majority, and I'm not blind to the fact that in that Jewish state of Israel today, you'll find people who call themselves Sephardic Jews, and they claim to be coming from Portugal, from Spain, and from the surrounding Middle Eastern countries. Some call themselves Mizrahi Jews. And among them, by the way, they had transported Ethiopians, some Ethiopians who are also sitting there in that place. And some of our brothers from the diaspora, they left the United States in the 60s and they went to that place. They were all deceived, all mistaken, they were all wrong. And they're experiencing racism in that place because they don't belong there. The majority of these Jewish people, who are predominantly Ashkenazi Jews, who are in control of the Knesset, their parliament, and all the affairs of the Jewish state of Israel, they come from a defunct kingdom of Khazar. And at some point they converted to Judaism. The Khazars were a semi-nomadic people who in the 6th century established an empire covering the southeastern section of modern European Russia, southern Ukraine, Crimea, Kazakhstan. Sometime around the year 740 CE, the king and the ruling class, followed by members of the general population, decided to convert to Judaism. The kingdom of Khazaria long served as a buffer between the Christian Byzantine Empire and the Islamic Umayyad and Abbasid caliphates. So between all these religions, they chose Judaism, converted to Judaism, and adopted the name Jewish people. but they faltered by calling themselves the Ashkenazi Jews, because Ashkenazi is the son of Gomer, who was a Yephatite. Now there's abundance of information today about the Khazars. Even the Jews, well-respected so-called Jewish people, are denouncing this identity, Jew. They are confirming and confessing that they are not they are not Jews in the first place. They are Europeans. Secondly, they are not related or have no historical ties with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They have no historical ties with the Bible. And this is interesting. Most prime ministers, from the first prime minister in the Jewish state of Israel, they changed their names. It's not only the prime ministers, but everybody else after 1948 changed their names so that their names should sound Hebrew or Hebrew-like. The first president, whose birth name was David Groen or David Groen, he changed his name to sound Hebrew. His name became David Ben-Gurion. Another president, a prime minister, Moshe Shertok, that was his birth name, changed his name to Moshe Sharet. Levi Shkolnik changed his name to Levi Eshkol. The only female prime minister whose birth name was Golda Mabovich, later on it was Golda Meirson, changed her name to Golda Meir. She's popularly known by the name Golda Meir. Many people don't know that they changed their names. Ishak Yeserniki. This one is a tongue twister. Ishak Yeserniki. Yitzhak Shamir. You will know him if you've been following the history of those people. Yitzhak Shamir. Simon Persky changed his name to Shimon Peres. He's also another popular one. Yitzhak Rubitsov. These are Russian-sounding surnames. Changed his name to Yitzhak Rabin. Ehud Brog changed his name to Ehud Barak. Ariel Scheinerman changed his name to Ariel Sharon. And yours truly, wait a minute. If I say yours truly, I'm saying me. But the most famous one who's causing chaos today in Israel, Benjamin Mileikovsky. This is his true identity. Mileikovsky changed his name to sound like the chosen one. Benjamin Netanyahu, like Eliyahu, like Yeshayahu, like all the biblical names. They changed their names to sound, they Hebraicized their names to sound Hebrew. And many others among them have subsequently changed their names. In 1948, it was an instruction that they should change their names to sound Hebrew. Now, Christians also believe, that the promised land is the Middle East. That's why every year the Christian will have a pilgrimage. they go to Israel, and that Israel, the Jewish state of Israel, because they want to see Jerusalem. They want to see where Jerusalem was. They want to see where the tomb of Jesus was. They want to see it with their own eyes, but they are going to a wrong place. That's not where it is. So they believe and they pray because they believe that if they pray for the peace of Jerusalem, they will prosper and they will be blessed. I want to remind you of this. There was once a president, and this quotation or quote is attributed to him. He was a prime minister of the United Kingdom, Winston Churchill, and this is what he said. History is written by the victors. We know this. History is written by the victors. The victors will determine the borders of the countries that they conquered. They will determine the names of those countries. So they will change names. South Africa today is South Africa. We were never South Africans. But foolishly, our leaders just left it as it is. We are known as South Africans, identified by our geographical position on the map. There's no country like that. There are debates. Today, there's going to be a motion presented in Parliament to change the name from South Africa to Azania, which is an interesting name. There are political organizations that have been saying that South Africa is Azania. And they've been calling themselves Azanians. Azanian People's Organization, Azanian Student Movement. But they've always been dismissed. Today there's going to be a motion in Parliament to debate it. I don't know whether it has been. I don't follow politics any longer. But this is something that they want to debate in Parliament. So conquerors will determine the history of their conquest, how they conquered. They will write their history. And they will change names of rivers, they will change mountains, they will change locations of places. Because they are the victors. They wrote the history. They are victorious. Today we have rivers, lakes, like Lake Victoria. It wasn't originally called Lake Victoria. We have the Nile River. It wasn't originally called the Nile River. Before Zimbabwe changed its name, it was called Rhodesia. So there was Northern Rhodesia and Southern Rhodesia. Namibia was Southwest Africa because the victors changed their names. So South Africa still calls itself by its colonial name, South Africa. But we read books about ourselves, historical material, political material, written by white people, telling us who we are. Our law is based on Roman Dutch law and Germanic law. We have not transformed. We have not changed. We are still playing by the master's tune. The victors will also change the laws, the language of the indigenous people. They will change the education system. For that reason, the Bible that we read today, the Bible which is called the Holy Bible, is not the original text. In spite of what they are telling you, they are saying people who wrote it or who translated it were inspired by the Most High. This is the biggest lie. These people were corrupt. These people were wicked. The King James Bible was commissioned by King James, whose first passion was demonology, demonology. He was obsessed with witchcraft. And apparently, he had an interest in men. So he was wicked, and he commissioned the translation of the Bible. And this is where you find a lot of things that are not consistent with the Hebrew scriptures. They have changed the wording, and we've gone through a lot of these things, which are found in the New Testament, where you found what the meaning was in Hebrew, it was changed. And a lot of people don't know this. So there's a series in many videos that I made about the New Testament. They changed the wording. When they change the wording, it affects your understanding. When they change the word version, and they say the virgin shall be with child, when it actually meant the young woman. When they say this is the fulfillment of a prophecy, when it actually wasn't the fulfillment of prophecy, when you read the whole chapter, the tendency is that in Christianity, a verse is taken. Most Christians who say Isaiah 53 is talking about Jesus, all of it. And you say to them, what does Isaiah 54 say? Or what does Isaiah 51 say? They don't know. So when they say Isaiah 7 verse 14 is about Jesus, ask them, what is Isaiah 7 verse 1? What is it saying? Because verse 1 is an introduction to verse 14. What is Isaiah 7 verse 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 14? What are they saying? They only know Isaiah 7 verse 14. They didn't bother to go back. Find context. You will find a liar. Now, because the victors have changed history, they will tell you what they want you to understand in the Bible. The generation of people who became archbishops, who became bishops, who became preachers, they were affected by this wickedness. The people that we admire and adore, people like Archbishop Desmond Tutu, Bishop Muzorewa in Zimbabwe, they all went through these seminaries which were conducted by white people. They were taught by white people. They were taught by colonialists about what the colonialists wanted them to understand. And this has got nothing to do with their intellect. So don't say these people were wise, they could have picked it up. They could not have. And they preached all their lives, preaching lies, not understanding what they were talking about, because the victor has affected their mental capacity to reason. That is why all African leaders are unable to get us out of poverty, because the victors have affected their ability to think beyond what they have been taught. All of them, one after the other, they took over and they used the political system that was left behind by the victors. Today in South Africa, we have more than 200 political parties. All of them, they are aspiring to be presidents. They think they can change anything. You can't change it. It is designed to make you fail, because it is designed to make an elite to continue to prosper. It's a system that you can't change. You will be accusing each other of being corrupt, and the system will corrupt you. you will not get out of this thing. So every second month in South Africa, there's a new political party that is formed. I kid you not, there are more than 200. There are offshoots. They come from this political party. They come from that political party. They register political party, and they have followers. That is why the ANC got the list of the majority it has been getting over the period of time, because the ANC has been breaking away bit by bit. But it is designed to be like that. It is designed to be like that. No one will prosper. We will have potholes. We will have a lack of electricity. We will have housing problems. There are people who are drinking water that is contaminated. And this is the problem throughout the continent. Our children are dying of malaria because the victors want you to fail. They got out of the system and they left people who will continue their legacy. And this is what is happening. All the systems that we're using, the parliamentarian system, the judiciary system, it is the system left behind by the victors. And none of our presidents have transformed it. We suffer. So those who went into the seminaries were taught by colonialists. They came out, they taught us, and we believed. We believe that the promised land is in the Middle East. We believe that the chosen people, the so-called Jewish people, are these people who are sitting there. All of these are lies. All of these are masking the truth. And the truth is that we are the people that the Bible is talking about. They say to you, if you want to understand the Bible, understand the culture of the Jews. No, the Jews don't. The Jews don't slaughter cows. The Jews don't. They circumcise, but they circumcise because they studied the Bible. The Jews don't do all the practices that are found, that we have discussed in the previous discussions. These things are found among us here, and they show that we are the people. It is for this reason that many of us still believe that the characters that are found, particularly in the Old Testament, are Caucasians. We believe that, and it's a lie. From Adam all the way to the last prophet who wrote the book, the prophetic book. Churches played a significant role in indoctrinating our people, and people are still indoctrinated. Churches and movies and books. If you walk into many of these old churches, you found the portraits of Caucasians. And people still go to those portraits, bow their heads, make a sign of a cross. Idolatry at its worst. And in many of these other churches, you find a big cross. They make you believe in idolatry and you embrace it. So, they didn't tell us what we needed to know or what we already knew. They didn't teach that. And King Leopold, was very clever because he knew who we were. And he said to missionaries, do not teach them about the Old Testament. They already know about their Creator. They already know that thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery. They know that. Teach them about turning the other cheek. Teach them about accepting authority Romans 13. All authority comes to us by the Most High. And we must accept all authority that is given to us because those people are anointed by the Most High. They played us. And what they did, when they read the Old Testament, they realized that it's not talking about them. So their forefathers, which was the Roman Empire then, wanted to consolidate their power and established a single religion. They commissioned people to sit down and decide on what kind of Christianity will be followed. And they came out of the Council of Nicaea with a creed, a belief system, and they forced everybody else to follow that creed. If you go to some of these mainstream churches, they still recite that Nicene Creed. I don't remember it, but I think it goes something like, I believe in God, the Father Almighty, creator of heaven and earth. I believe in Jesus, the Son of God, and the Holy Spirit, something like that. Something like that. You believe that Jesus died and went to heaven and so on. So they wrote this New Testament, plagiarized the Old Testament, and we've discussed this. You'll find it in some of the videos. They plagiarized most of the things. Maybe I should put a link so that people who don't want to go through all the things, I should put the link of those videos. Plagiarized all these things in the New Testament, and they came up with the New Testament, which is highly plagiarized from the Old Testament. And then they called the sacred writings the Old Testament, which means it's no longer significant, it's old, it has done its purpose, it's done. What you should focus on is the New Testament. They lied and said we are now in the new covenant, which many Christians believe in, and it's a lie. They took these two books. One is paganism and one is sacred. They put them together, and on the cover they wrote the Holy Bible. And when you're reading it, when you buy one book, a collection of books, the Holy Bible, the New and the Old Testament. They deceived us. Now, in spite of everything that they've done, the Most High has made sure that He leaves traces for us when the time is right, when the appointed time is right, for us to know who we are. He left traces for us in the Bible so that when we read, we can identify ourselves in the Bible. Let us look at the journey of Abraham when he journeyed from Ur of the Chaldeans to the Promised Land. And we have been told that the Ur of the Chaldeans is where? In Iraq. And Babylon is where? Iraq. But all these places are here in the continent. Genesis 12 verses 7 to 10. Then Yah appeared to Abram and said, to your descendants I will give this land. And there he built an altar to Yah. By that time, Abraham was already in the Promised Land. And there he built an altar to Yah, who had appeared to him. And he moved from there to the mountain of East Bethel. When we were discussing the true Promised Land, we identified these places in Kenya, all of them. Bethel, Ai, and all these places that are mentioned in the Bible are still there in Kenya. I know that some of the people want them to be in Namibia or in South Africa or elsewhere. But there are many reasons that tells us that's where the places are. And he moved from there to the mountain of east of Bethel, and he pitched his tent with Bethel on the west and Ai on the east. There he built an altar to Yah and called on the name of Yah. So Abram journeyed, going on still toward the south. Where was he as he was journeying toward the south? Now we will get more clarity. Now there was famine in the land. Where in the land? The promised land. And Abram went down to Egypt. So where was he if he was to travel down to Egypt? Now when you look at the map, it sounds logical that if you are in Israel and going to Egypt, you will be going down, because we're looking at the map. But what is the geographical position of Egypt and the promised land? The elevation of Egypt is higher than the elevation of Israel. So from that Middle East place, you can't be going to Egypt going down. You will be going up. You can only go down if you are at an elevation higher than Egypt, and so you will be going down. So this tells us that wherever Abraham was, the geographical position was higher, and he was going downstream, downward. So we are told in verse 10, there was famine in the land, and Abram went down to Egypt to dwell there, for the famine was severe in the land. Now when we read Genesis 13, 1 up to 4, we get more clarity. After the famine, Abraham went up from Egypt. So from Egypt, Abraham went up. Now, if you look at ancient maps of Egypt, you'll find that Egypt was divided into two. There was Lower Egypt and Upper Egypt. Upper Egypt was on the south of Egypt. So from Lower Egypt, when you're going to the south and you're going up, you're going towards the continent of Africa. Not away from it, towards it. And some people are teaching that Israel, where Israel is and where Egypt is, it was one land. It has now been separated by the Suez Canal. That analysis is correct, but they are wrong. If you read this is telling you where Abraham was journeying to and fro. He was going up and down. Now the Nile River, its source is the so-called Lake Victoria. So it starts from Lake Victoria and it goes downward to Egypt. So from Lake Victoria, which is surrounded by Kenya, Tanzania, Congo, this is the source of the Nile River. And from the Nile, it goes down to Egypt. So when you are in Egypt, you go up. And when we are in the area around the Lake Victoria, you will go down. And this is what Abraham, these are the traces that the Most High left for us. He went down to Egypt. He went up from Egypt, going back south. And south is where we are. We are south of Egypt. Does it make sense? Abraham went up from Egypt. He could not have gone to the Middle East. He took his wife with him and Lot. They went south. Verse 2, Abraham was very rich in livestock, in silver, and in gold. Where do you find all these mineral resources? They are not found in the Middle East. Silver, gold, livestock. They were battling to find a red heifer, which is abundant here. And he went on his journey, verse 3. He went on his journey from south as far as Bethel to the place where his tent had been at the beginning. So he went back to where he was. And he placed an altar there for the Most High. So, if you're a Christian and you believe that those people there are the chosen people of the Most High, and you're praying for peace, we are condoning the violence and the massacre and the murders that they're committing. You are aiding their actions there. But more importantly, you are praying for the peace of Jerusalem, which is not where you think it is. It was never there. There's another reason why the Romans conquered that place. There's another reason why our people went there. It had nothing to do with that place being the true Jerusalem. It was a duplicate, actually. And there were many other places that were built by our people, which they called Jerusalem. I think it was the doing of the Most High. So this is where I will end today. This was a long presentation. You might need to go over it to understand some of these things, but if you have understood, consider what I have said. Consider it and study. You know, the New Testament teaches you to read with faith without understanding. You will not have understanding, and the Most High challenges us. He says, let us reason, because He gave us brains. They blind you with faith so that you don't get to see the contradictions and the lies that are in the New Testament. And for all these years, plain things like this, geographical position of the south of Egypt, we can't pick it up because we're trying to read with faith. Even if it discomforts us, we take it as it is. But these are lies. This is the plain truth. Abraham was not in the Middle East. Abraham was here in the continent. We are the people. We are the Bantu. We are the people who are the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And because we ourselves are cursing ourselves more than we have been cursed, we pray for the peace of that place, which is cursed. And they are destroying people there. They are killing people. And we are praying for them to prosper, to continue killing. Can we consider these things and start repenting and start doing what the Most High is asking us to do? Repent. This is where I will stop. Thank you very much for your attention. Asante sana, nda, ngiyabonga. All praises to the Most High. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.